showing me the space center, opening your home for me. All of these have left an indelible mark in my mind, and I can only say my fondness for you is growing by the day. Of course, Australians are known to be very, very friendly, very outspoken, very wonderful people. But I think the visit was beyond what I had imagined. Namaste, a very good morning, a very good afternoon to all the friends. It's already a month since my visit to Australia, but very, very appreciative of the wonderful work all our CEOs have done under the leadership of CII, our two co-chairs, the very good work that Jody, as the director of the India Australia CEOs Forum from the BCA, Chandrajit Banerjee, Director General of CII, George Culbert, President Business Council of Australia, and our two wonderful co-chairs, Shamara and Anish. Sanjeev Puri's contribution as President of CII, and all the good work the five working groups have done deserve accolades from all of us. Thank you very much. It's I think a time in history which we have to seize. Our leaders have had 9 in-person meetings since May 2022, which reflects the deep bonds at the highest level. Minister Farrell and I exchange photographs and messages often on such a personal level that I promise you the relationship couldn't have been better. Our businesses trust each other. Our businesses see the potential in this relationship. And yet, I think we are a long way away from what the potential of this partnership holds. While undoubtedly we work together very closely at G20, at G7, at the IPEF, at our Quad, at the ASEAN meetings, we are looking at upscaling our investments both ways, increasing trade both ways. Hopefully, soon opening Invest India and NICDIC office in Sydney. We have plans, but I still think we are a long way from what we can achieve. In fact, the good part of this relationship stems from the bipartisan support that the India-Australia ECTA agreement received from all parties. And I think that's what I would expect when we are also finalizing the CECA. But the good part about working with Australia was that despite very high ambitions, we both were able to work recognizing each other's sensitivities, the concerns of each other's economies, the concerns of different levels of economic growth, different levels of current prosperity. And in fact, very recently, in an engagement with another colleague of ours from a developed nation, I was sharing with him and praising the Australia negotiations to explain to him how the deep sensitivities displayed by the Australians and the understanding of very different economic conditions helped us in concluding an agreement possibly in about 90 days of discussions, most of it over video conferencing during COVID. And I do believe that our businesses also can work in that same spirit. With all the negativity of COVID, it has left behind the positive aspect of changing the way we work. Otherwise, just setting dates for this CEO meeting would have taken us months altogether. Now we've concluded such outstanding recommendations from all of you in 1 hour. And a lot of food for thought for both of us, Don and me, our colleagues in the government. And I'd like to leave some food for thought for all of our business friends also. While I'm grateful for the very good work the working groups have done, I do see there's tremendous potential in the 5 areas of trade and investment. We can do better in that, of course. As I said earlier, we are looking at early conclusion of the CECA We are looking at reducing the non-tariff barriers between Australia and India. We are looking at greater engagement on critical minerals, health, technology, tremendous potential on innovation and startups, but lots more can be done. And how can we do that? Why can we not start identifying specific areas of cooperation? I'll share a small story of where I think we can really how we can do transformational work in this relationship. While I was in Australia, in a passing comment in Adelaide, I was told that there is a shortage of 1 million homes in Australia. 1 million homes. And because of which, you cannot fill up your universities. You cannot accept international students in your universities. Because of that, the universities are going to face a pressure on funding or adequate resources. And then the whole cycle gets into the economy. Now, when I said, why can't you build 1 million homes? You have all the money. And Macquarie alone can fund $500 billion to build those homes. But the problem is, who will build those
finding some difficulty.
We had a CREDI conference. I think the IIT Kanpur director may like to mute his system. Yeah. We had a CREDI conference, a conference of all the leaders of the real estate business happening in Sydney while I was in Australia. And I immediately called up the CREDI president and suggested that he should mount a mission, get some of the top real estate developers to come to Australia and see how India can help you build those million homes so that your infrastructure gets upgraded, there's adequate housing, your universities can be supported. One thing can actually impact several sectors. That'll also help you in pushing up economic growth, something which India is doing with massive investments annually on our infrastructure building. Now, if we take this idea to the next level, we need to flesh out the difficulties in achieving this. There may be some difficulties about the workers that you may require. We can help you get that. There may be some concerns. What if the workers don't go back end of the assignment? We can work in a pattern in which you give a permission only for 1 year or 2 years for a worker to work, and we ensure he comes back so that somebody else goes and takes that work forward, and therefore there is no vested interest or long-term stay which can cause a problem. I mean, sensitivities of your economy, our economy can be addressed even on specific outcome-oriented projects. And we can act fast, and we need to act now if we really want to make trade and investment a strong pillar of this relationship. Similarly, on the Sika, Don, I suggest that let's get our teams cracking through regular video conferencing and see whether we can. Let's not make perfect the enemy of the good. And let's see if we can get them cracking to iron out the differences. I think my people tell me there are a few areas where non-tariff barriers or regulatory practices, some little bit of support here and there, and we can try and bring equity and balance and get over the hump of the Sika. And what we can do is we can have a review process after a couple of years so that we can keep refining, improvising, learning from experience, and make the opening up more gradual, particularly since, as you have very often and rightly respected, that our economic conditions are very different. And it'll take time for the psyche, for the mindset to start accepting the greater degree of openness that will help expand trade and investments on both sides. I used investment as a mechanism to bring equity while finalizing the agreement with the EFTA countries, Switzerland, Norway, Iceland, and Liechtenstein, who have committed to invest $100 billion in India over the next 15 years with a linkage to the trade agreement, where we review it every 5 years, it'll help create 1 million direct jobs in India. And we've actually brought in a clawback to the concessions we have given if that investment doesn't come in. Now it's a two-way benefit. Their technologies, their innovation, otherwise are just not getting used. They don't have people. And the cost of manufacturing is too high with $100,000 per capita income there. But when that same technology comes to India, using our talent and skills, that all makes it competitive. We have a large demand in India, 1.4 billion people, aspirational young India, hardworking, willing to put in a lot of effort for a better future for their families. And together, we can co-create, co-produce for the rest of the world. So it can just open up a huge amount of opportunity. Our automobiles, our electric vehicle cooperation, batteries, lithium, critical minerals, mining, offshore renewable energy. The potential is tremendous. Similarly, on the other areas like maritime and defense cooperation, while there's a lot of work together for the security of the Indo-Pacific, we can build on our logistics engagement, co-ownership of shipping vessels, flagging of vessels in India to give you business opportunities. Uh, on education, we are seeing a lot of work happening on skilling and mobility, science and technology and innovation, where we can share best practices, better standards, AI, blockchain, big data, IoT. The potential is tremendous. And I think we are in a hurry to grow the country, get people a better future, and work together with you on climate change mitigation. The green energy, green economy is another area, making green steel for the world, green hydrogen and ammonia. We can have a task force on each of these specific areas so that, for example, your expertise in water management can help us. Disaster resilience is an area we have done a lot of work on, considering what's happening in the world. I'm so very confident that this CEO forum can become the cornerstone of our shared vision of peace, prosperity, and sustainability. So let's go for it, friends. Let's set our ambitions high and not settle for modest or moderate outcomes. Let's look for the big picture in all the good work that all of you have done. Thank you very much, friends. Thank you, Dawn. Thank you, Judy. I have exceeded a couple of minutes, but I truly enjoyed talking to all of you. Thank you.
Well, having seen your speeches, Minister, while you're in Australia, I think you've done very well just to go over a couple of minutes. So Josh Lender and I did have a chat, I have to say, and we did wonder how far over you'd go. But the thing is, you are so enthusiastic about this relationship, and we very much appreciate you being a friend of Australia. So thank you. And I think that was a nice close as well as we move to hear the final words from our chairs, which is the CEO Forum for 2025 and how we build on the work that you've heard through the joint working groups and what our work plan looks like and the role of the BCA and CII in that. So I'm going to start with Dr. Anish Shah, if I may, and then we'll end with Shamara. So over to you, Anish.
Thank you, Jody. I would echo our Honorable Minister's words that this has been a very productive session. In 1 hour, there was a lot accomplished, but there was a lot of work that went into coming into this session as well. And thank you to all the working groups from the Australian and Indian sides to be able to really put in that level of effort. We now have to take this and deliver that into specific outcomes. And we very much look forward to an in-person meeting of the CEO Forum as well. And we will work together to set specific dates for that and make that happen. There's a lot of potential here, and I look forward to continuing working with everyone here to help us realize that potential. Thank you. Over to you, Shamara.
Thanks very much, Dr. Shah. And look, I'd just echo that. It was really great, the work that's got done so far and the initiatives that have been identified for each